But today in this video, I'm going to be revealing what is the Kabbalah, where is it in your human design chart, and what do you need to know for practical solutions to your life. So what is Kabbalah? First, let me back up just a bit because it is part of human design. So let me show you where it is, and that'll give us our starting out point. So you'll notice in the Rave I Ching, you notice that in the middle we have the human design chart. This is what shows you what type you are, your channels, your hanging gates, and you can also see the centers, which look like the chakras. So the centers come from the chakras. Now, the wheel is showing you how it got the placement of the gate. That comes from the astrology. The gates come from the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. And then the quantum and neutrino sciences are the modern sciences that show how to integrate this into your life, as well as the neutrino sciences show the breadth of the stars and the planets actually impacting us in our aura system. Now, the place that has been hidden and no one is talking about is the Kabbalah. And this is the tree of life, and it's mirrored in the body graph. So the actual 10 Sifrit are mirrored in the body graph. But what does it mean and why is it important to you? Also in the Kabbalah, we have the sacred geometry of the channel. So the pathways are also part of the Kabbalah. Those are your channels. The channels have a bigger impact when you have two hanging gates that come together. They create a third, which is the same as the sacred geometry. When you have a single point and it moves, you have the connecting point, which creates the sacred geometry of 3. Now, that's a whole other topic. I would love to make a video on that. But right now, let's stick to the Kabbalah. So, human design, the astrology, the I Ching, the neutrino science, they point to the thumbprint. You can imagine this as the synchronicities, the awarenesses that all things are connected, seeing the DNA coding in the I Ching, that DNA coding as a mapping to who you are. This is what we call the thumbprint. And the Kabbalah is the face. So the thumbprint is showing you the divinity. In Kabbalah is a direct front-facing experience of the unseen world, the divine, the highest awareness, the evolution of the soul, which is a little bit higher than just the soul. It is the God zone, the creator. Now, this word often creates a trigger in my clients and people listening to my videos because they think that it's religious. But it is not. This is not a dogma. This is not something you blindly believe. There are no tribal rules around this because it's coming through your human design, which means it's coming individually through you. So this is the face, a personal connection, direct, without interface, without the priest, without the guru, without the rabbi, a front-facing connection with God. Now, this is important to really let that settle in because in human design, Ra Urihu is a self-proclaimed atheist. You need to know that because no matter how hard I looked, we bumped up against it in the Godhead. We bumped up against it in rave cosmology. But Ra Uru-Hu's awakening was drug-induced, no judgment. But he didn't learn the exact steps on how to reach that state and realize that it was part of divinity. So when you study human design, you need to understand that. So let me break this down to you. Kabbalah is an ancient mystery school. It was known to be taught to Jesus, to Moses, to Carl Jung, to Pythagoras, to Neville Goddard, to Abraham, which was before any religion was formed at all. It said to not just be the foundation of every religion, because Abraham was the one that was passed down this information, and it started several religions. But it's not just the foundation of that. It's also the foundation of the tarot, which maps specifically to the pathways, specifically to the tree of life, and modern day manifestation techniques like the law of attraction. Neville Goddard was one of the founders, but it came through other people as well, directly. But at first glance, there is a block. And I came up against this, and maybe you are too, and maybe you have in the past. Because Kabbalah looks religious and it looks complicated. Everybody I talk to about it is like, oh, it's really complicated. I've looked into that, or I read this book and it didn't make sense. And so truly, there has been a lot of blocks. And also, there was one time when people were crucified for studying it. And even when it was mapped down into the tarot, who was crucified for that? The witches. But why? Why is it so hidden? Why is everyone so afraid of it? Why are there so many roadblocks? Because of the life-altering power and the true empowerment it brings back to each person who is willing to experiment with it. So here's the thing. This is an experiment, just like human design. It's try it on. Does it work for you? Do you notice anything? That's huge, because that is how I teach everything. I teach all of my students to empower themselves with their inner authority. And this is very similar. So if anyone's telling you to follow it in this way, and then you need to follow a religion, or once you find God, that means you need to do A, B, and C, that isn't then correct for you, that's dogma, manipulation, and control. So, and if religion is good for you, then that you might have a lot of tribal circuitry and you love the culture, you love the community, and there's nothing wrong with that if it's a yes for you. And I want you to bring every religion here, because religion is beautiful and there's so many people that are fed by it and love it. But the problem is, if you're not, and then you leave it, then you're excommunicated and you are the black sheep and you're not loved. And with this knowledge, it's if you're not loving more, and not just loving people in your family, in your tribe, in your religion, it's loving everybody. Remember what Jesus said? And that's the basic foundation of every religion, and yet we've still missed it. It's not love the people who just believe what you believe. It's loving your enemies, those people who have a different religion, those people that live in different countries, those people who look different than you, those people that are not perfect. You know, maybe they have an illness, maybe they have one arm. It's loving everyone. And if you are not finding more love for your partner, more love for your family, more love for your clients, your neighbors, then you're not doing it right. There's a problem. And if you look out into the world today, a lot of religious zealots are not very loving. So there are blocks to the truth. because it means you're not being controlled by a certain group. So the empowerment comes when you're really, really willing to experiment with something new. So my job, this has always been my job as a human design teacher. When I first came to human design, I was like, oh my God, it's so complicated. Let me break it down simply. So now that the Kabbalah is merging in to human design, it has been prophesied that this is the time it is to be revealed in human design. My job is to break it down for you simply and practically. I'm a 5-1, which means I'm here to universalize, make it practical. The 1 is the teacher, and my incarnation cross is to take new information and speak it in a way that's very organized, very practical, and passes down my tribal values. My tribal values are non-religious and individual and accepting of every religion. Okay, I don't block anyone who's religious. I come from a specific religion that I love, and I follow the religious practices. But that's not what I'm going to push on to anybody. That's personal, and it's more cultural. Okay, this is a way to bring this empowerment uniquely through your vehicle, how it inspires you, how it empowers you, how it impacts you, how manifestation begins to change. And I'm going to make a lot of videos on this because I am a proponent of law of attraction. I've been using it to move from my corporate career to my online business. And then I realized that even that had a ceiling, that had blocks. Human design had a ceiling. Human design had blocks. I was up against the drama of human design, being kicked out of human design, friends breaking up with me because of it. And I realized there's something more. There's something deeper that's not being revealed. And it's right here. It's in the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah shows you how to heal these relationships. It shows you how to navigate to the place where, because you're so connected to your own higher truth, your own empowerment, then it doesn't matter what anyone says about you. It doesn't matter that people don't like you. Obviously, you want to do your best to heal and be as loving as possible, but then you cannot control. And you don't let that stop you from stepping into your higher purpose. And also with the law of attraction, there's a block between the mental projection and the vibration field. The law of attraction is vibrating at certain frequencies. It's already in the vortex. You vibrate at that frequency, and that's partially true, but not all the way true. And I've done that for 10 years, and I still had an income block. The same block I hit in my corporate career, I hit the exact same block. Why? Because my vessel, in Kabbalah, they say your vessel, your consciousness, cannot hold more blessings. So you have to understand where the blocks are in order to receive more. And I'm going to break all of this down for you. But the Kabbalah was also seated in human design, but not revealed. No one talks about it. Why? Where is it? It's not revealed until now. So let me start from the beginning. I'm foundational, so I need to start with step 1. Step 1 of merging the Kabbalah into your human design chart. I want you to take something with you in all of my videos. And from this point forward, all of my videos are going to merge Kabbalah into human design and give you steps through law of attraction, practical tools, transformational tools in order to awaken a higher dimensional experience of your life. So this is the first lesson, and it's profound. So mark this video, come back to it whenever you need to. This is step 1. In human design, where the 1%, the Maya operates, Ra Uru calls it the Maya. The Kabbalah calls it the Maya as well in the Malkut. It is the illusion. You may want to rewatch The Matrix. They talk about it too. Even Albert Einstein said we're living in an illusion. It's persistent. It's an optical delusion, Albert Einstein said. And in this illusion, you have no choice. That's what Ra Uru says. And he said it deliberately because he was trying to get you into your strategy and inner authority, because that was the only way to pull you out of the mind. So the mind is a construct of the illusion, and you think that you have control on what's going on with the mind, but it's really pulses of conditioning, pulses of neurons firing, and based on how you were born, what you believe, what environment you're in, you have no choice. The Kabbalah agrees with this. In the illusion, you have no choice. Now, in the gene keys, this is developed by Richard Rudd, you were given a choice to stay in the shadow or to step into the gift and experience the city. So he took human design. He was a human design teacher who was certified and trained by Raquel, and he created the gene keys. And the gene keys gave you something specific to work on. You might be in the shadow of your human design, and you might need to learn what the gift is rather than cycling through the shadow. And then you have moments of experiencing the city. The city is kind of like your inner guru. It's a state where you're more ecstatic. It's a higher vibrational awareness state. Like I said, the thumbprint. You know God's around you. It's the thumbprint of the DNA code, the thumbprint of the synchronicities. And you can grow and you can evolve. But what Kabbalah brings is very unique. The first thing you need to take with you about the Kabbalah, and it really needs you to pause in this moment and really take this in. In the Kabbalah, it is true that in the Malkut, which is the 1%, you have no choice. But in order to enter the 99%, which is the rest of the tree of life, you are given one choice. It is the choice you make when you are in your shadow, when you're triggered, when the blessing comes, when you're depressed, when you're anxious, when your business is failing, when it is thriving, when you are hurt, when you're having a health crisis, when you're broken, and when you're elated. You have one choice. Now, again, I need to make this really clear. So please note, this is not religious. Okay, so stay with me here, but you have one choice. This is about you, your awareness, your power, and your choice. Your choice is to partner with the Creator. Not to figure it out alone, not to control, not to fix, not to give your power over to someone else, to partner, to co-create, to align, to remember. This is the essence of the Kabbalah. The one choice. You make it over and over again. You make it at your lowest point. You make it at your highest point. You make it in order to see the unseen world. You see, I have guides. I speak to angels. I've seen people cross over. I am a spiritual practitioner. I know about astrology. And I was in the thumbprint. It was, God was around me. It was peripheral. I knew it was there. I was communicating with my guides. I have 17 blue beings that work with me. I have a lot of channeling material. But that is dancing around the empowerment of God. Why? Because I have an aversion to religion. I am a heretic. And I am a feminine, female, empowered person. I am a shaman. So when I hear that empowerment of partnering with the creator, I get a little nervous, cringy. So when I was guided to the Kabbalah in a non-religious setting, which is rare, I began to download the face of God. That means a direct connection, personal, precise, directive, aligned, empowered. Coming through to create the co-creative blessings that are available in the unseen world. They're waiting for you to be able to receive and hold this energy. And to learn how to do that, you need the map of the Kabbalah. So once you get the map, you start walking through the tree of life. And this is a very specific map, very similar to human design, where you're giving your strategy and your inner authority. You're giving your DNA code. You're showing your centers, which one's defined and undefined, and what that means. Well, in the Kabbalah, you're given your soul, your purpose, your alignment, your soul's reason for being here. And oftentimes, that's what's missing in everything you're doing. Why isn't the business working? Why are we having health issues? Why are we hitting the income ceiling blocks? Why are we in the dramas with our exes? Why can't we have a soulmate? Why are we in these dramas? Because the soul isn't landing in the 1%. It takes the willingness to allow this power, the front-facing power, to be held in your consciousness, your body, your vessel. There's a specific map for that. It's all in the tree of life. I'm going to break it down for you step by step by step, simply, elegantly, and with joy and fun. And what unfolds is a healed body, healthy relationship, the direct certainty on your business or your career, blessings. Everything you desire is held in the 99%. And the only reason, according to the Kabbalah, that you don't have it is because you're strengthening your ability to hold the blessings. So we're going to teach you how to strengthen that ability. So what we have discovered is when you put this together with your human design, because if you just go to the Kabbalah, you start to get homogenized into the system. You want the bottom or the foundation of the Kabbalah, the purity of the knowledge to come through uniquely in your design. And then you're given a new code. So you have the Kabbalah, tree of life, your blueprint, and then it opens up the new code, the ZoCode. The ZoCode is merging Kabbalah, the map of the tree of life, into your human design chart. It's already been there, but it's kind of like it had the seed. Now, the apples are already encoded in the seed, right? But first they need to sprout, grow the roots, grow the tree, grow the branches. And what do you do with the seed? Well, you've got to water it. You've got to get the sunshine, and you've got to learn like what fertilizer it needs. And that's what we're going to be doing in the ZoCode. So this is the soul's archetypal journey, what you're here to correct. This is the ancient patterns, the wounded archetypes, inherent distortions. So in the Kabbalah, they show you your patterns, like your karma, what your soul is here to correct. It's different than karma because it's direct. And we can start mapping that out. Why? To heal. why you came here. It shows directly why you're alive. Isn't that something you want to know? Your lineage, your story, your soul's purpose, to integrate the shadow into the light, the fragmented into the whole, the separation into the unity, to remember your divine essence, your soul's path, and your sacred mission, to embody your highest self, your greatest contribution in your soul's legacy. So the ZoCode reveals your soul's archetypal role, the wounds you came to correct, the gifts you came to embody, the impact you came to make, and the legacy you came to leave. The ZoCode is the awakening of the face of God individually in your human design chart, which means you hold it uniquely. It's your own personal mythology, your own personal religion. What rituals do you need? What healing do you need? And God directs you. If you're still trying to get the answer from out there, you will still be misguided. So in the ZoCode, we have 9 archetypes. We show you exactly which archetype is yours, exactly which archetype you need to begin your soul's healing. It's unique to you, to your human design chart. So if you want to know what your ZoCode is, we have our first program mapping this out for you. Find out your archetypal ZoCode, the wound, your pattern, past life pattern, and how to begin to use your human design chart to awaken your soul's path. A lot of people are coming to us when their businesses aren't working, AI's taken this business, that business. Maybe they were in a corporate career and now AI's pushing them out, and it's the breaking point. This transcends all of that because it's bigger than anything in the illusion. It's your connection to why we're here, and we're all here to have blessings and money and soul contribution. So you have to see it from the highest divine perspective. I'd love to guide you through. So wherever you're watching this video, just comment ZoCode and we'll give you the information on the new program. If you're watching it on YouTube and you want to directly reach us, you can email the team at support@raquelreyna.com. So as we're finishing this video, I want you to take in a breath with me. And if you just bring one thing through today to begin the journey of watering the seed that was planted in your human design, which is your DNA code, begin to call in that divine source directly as your guide, your co-creator. Don't be afraid to go direct. So take a breath with me and begin to allow the journey to unfold. All you need to do is say yes, and miracles begin to unfold in your life. Make the one choice and watch what happens. I love you so much. Thank you for being part of this community. And I'll see you.
Davidian and I have traveled far and wide into the mystical, through human design, through Kabbalah, through the unseen world of wisdom, the fire of awakening. We came back with one message: your wisdom was never meant to stay hidden. Wisdom goes viral, a 30-day challenge to ignite your voice, awaken your power, spark your personal revolution. The flame is already in you.
Remember, rise and burn brighter, letting your wisdom spread like the illuminating rays from a lighthouse. 30 days, one personal revolution, making your truth impossible to ignore. Wisdom goes viral.